So Marek Tominsky, the founder and CEO of CI Games, the dev and I believe also publisher behind the game Lords of the Fallen, is in the news once again. People are upset. People being like the Twitter police sorts, those sorts. Now, for those that don't know, / would like a little bit of a refresher, this game, Lords of the Fallen, and Marek Tominsky were in the news before because he would make polls on Twitter, for example, like, how much importance do you put on attractive characters in video games? There was another poll as another example where he said something like, should video games use body type 1, body type 2, or use male and female? Pretty innocuous stuff like that. But this began to enrage the modern audience so much that even some of the mods, no surprise here, some of the mods on the subreddit for Lords of the Fallen are these modern audience weirdos. And they actually like made a whole pinned post crashing out about Marek Tominsky, accusing him of being like a Nazi and stuff. And the responses were filled with people calling the mods terminally online and pointing out how ridiculous they are, and also pointing out how fake they are, right? Because like on one hand, the mods were saying like basically saying like this game is problematic because the freaking main dude is a Nazi. And people are like, well, why are you still a mod for this game then if you think it's so like problematic? And of course they never respond because all they want is like power. They're power tripping. Oh, this is so bad. It's so problematic. This guy's a Nazi. But yeah, we're still going to mod the subreddit for this game so we can like abuse our power as mods because that's all we do in life. It's so pathetic. Anyways, that takes us here to Marek Tominsky responding to Fextra Life, who had said, Lords of the Fallen 2 sparks controversy after confirming it will avoid political correctness and feature revealing armor for female characters. And Marek Tominsky says political correctness is bad for gaming. It's about escapism and immersion and not about agendas. And let's just run this headline back really quick. Lords of the Fallen 2 sparks controversy after confirming it will avoid political correctness and feature revealing armor for characters. This is something that should not be causing drama at all. So you want to avoid political correctness. You want to avoid like fake virtue signaling. That's good. You want revealing armor. Okay, like so many other games ever. Like this is so not a big deal. The fact that this is news nowadays, and by nowadays, of course, stuff like this would be news for a number of years now, but you know what I mean, figure of speech. The fact that this is like a controversy is crazy. Because then this YouTuber, Fightin' Cowboy, who's got like over 1 million subscribers, would respond to that Fextra Life article about Lords of the Fallen 2 committing to not having political correctness and having, revealing armor and stuff like that. And he says, y'all gonna have a solid optimized game for launch, right? Maybe a demo. Oh, we gonna have titties, bro. Real clever stuff. And so Marek Tominsky then says, thanks for your help at the Lords 23 launch, but it's a real shame you're twisting the narrative. And Fighting Cowboy responds to Marek Tominsky saying, not twisting anything, my guy. I was one of the biggest supporters for Lords of the Fallen reboot. Defended it despite calls that I was a shill for doing so. Still have high hopes for the sequel, but seeing you pander to gamers trademark and engage in culture war shenanigans is cringe. So hold on a second. Let's pause for a second. This is a crazy concept. A video game marketing itself to gamers? I mean, this is just unthinkable. A game pandering to gamers. That just makes no sense. Why would a dev want to pander to gamers as a game dev making a video game? I mean, this is such a crazy concept. Obviously, I'm being facetious here. It makes total sense, bro. This is not a big deal, man. What the heck? Seeing the game dev pander to gamers is cringe. Bro, what are you talking about? Oh my gosh. And then we got a little crossover here with Asmongold and Paul Tassi. You might remember Paul Tassi just in general, I guess, but also because we talked about Paul Tassi the other day in the video about Highguard. And yeah, if you don't know, Paul Tassi's like one of the most corporate gaming journalists out there. Pretty notorious dude. Paul Tassi says, you can just put this in your game and it's fine. You don't have to be a huge loser about it. In response to Insider Gaming, similarly, like Fextra Life, having said Lords of the Fallen 2 will have attractive female characters and revealing outfits, CEO says. Bro, how does that make you like actually that upset that you're trying to say like he's being a loser about it? The dude is just saying like, yeah, we'll have attractive female characters and revealing outfits. It's not even a big deal. And bro's like, what a loser. Actually crazy. But it gets even crazier because what Marek Tominsky said was even more innocuous than that. As Asmongold points out, it was a response to a fan. Here's the source. Replying yes to a question doesn't seem like being a huge loser. It seems like you're exaggerating it to make what he's saying sound problematic. This weird media crusade against sexualized characters is failing. Just stop it. And so, yeah, we can see this person, Sam Bailey, had said, I'm going to buy the game. As you can see, he's like responding to Merrick Tominsky here, saying, I'm going to buy the game. Definitely. Will there be attractive female characters, and will there be revealing outfits and armor for them? And Merrick Tominsky says, yes. That's it. So he didn't even actually like say this himself. It's like implied, right? Based off the yes he said. So the man quite literally just said yes. And these people are crashing out about this. Paul Tassi says, where's the crusade? Because the crusade banging on the door every 5 seconds is complaining that someone in a game isn't hot enough. Now somehow the new Lara Croft, if there is one too sexy complaint, there are 200 too ugly ones on here. And then Asmon says, are you trying to say that there hasn't been an ongoing effort for the last 10 years to change how primarily female characters look? This would have never been an issue until media made it an issue. All the comments complaining are a direct response to that. So yeah, you know, Paul Tassi just gets obliterated here. This is so sad, man. It's so sad that these people, a part of the modern audience, so to speak, and in gaming journalism have, just like Asmongold said, you know, pushed this narrative for years. For years and years, they've been doing this and like trying to make attractive characters problematic and or outright removing them from certain Western games. We've even seen like pre-existing characters that were attractive being made less attractive in newer releases, right? And it's a weird thing to even talk about here because it's such a weird thing that was occurring. And then, you know, people, as mentioned, are sick of that stuff, and they're calling out how weird that is, how it's such weird behavior from these journalists and stuff, and a number of these devs and like modern audience types. And now that their rhetoric and their campaign of doing this has been failing, they're trying to act like it never happened. And then going back to this fighting cowboy dude, this person, Mac, responds to fighting cowboy and says context, and posts an image of that tweet from Asmongold giving the context that we just read, responding to Paul Tassi, where, again, Merrick Tominsky simply said yes in response to that inquiry from Sam Bailey about attractive female characters and revealing outfits. And then Fighting Cowboy somehow still finds a way to get mad at this. He says, so you said context, but I see you're leaving out his anti-DEI interviews, the body type poll, and all the crusading he's been doing. Interesting how we doing selective context now. Dude, pointing out how he's anti-DEI and how he doesn't like body type 1, body type 2 is not helping your case at all. The body type 1, body type 2, or body type A, body type B stuff ever becoming somewhat prevalent in Western gaming from a number of these modern audience devs and companies has been such an extremely bizarre thing to witness. And it's not even like good for representation either, because it's just dehumanizing to people. Imagine defending that slop. And let's broaden that for a second. Let's say imagine getting this upset at a game dev for simply saying yes in response to a question about, hey, are you going to have attractive characters? Hey, is some of the armor going to be revealing? Dude's just like, yes. But now we have a YouTuber with 1 million+ subscribers. We have Paul Tassi, one of the most notorious gaming journalists. We have all dozens of the modern audience people on social media, all these people upset with Merrick Tominsky for this stuff, including even some of the subreddit mods, which again, that's not surprising, but you know, it's crazy how easily offended these people are. Dude said yes. Not a big deal, but you know, made for good entertainment, I guess, for a video today. So there's that at least. So yeah, this was a fun video to make, but I'll leave it there. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.